to enjoin the Department of Elections from implementing House Bill 346, which provides for vote by mail in Delaware. This statute is both unconstitutional and unnecessary. Delaware's Constitution, which only applies to the general election and not to primary elections according to Supreme Court decision, allows for absentee voting for certain specific reasons, including concerns about health. If an individual believes that their health would be adversely affected by voting in person, they are able, and we would encourage them, to vote remotely. The absentee ballot system in Delaware has been in effect for decades, and there have been no instances of fraud or cause for concern about the integrity of any election. There are no other provisions in Delaware's Constitution regarding voting, except voting in person on election day or by absentee. Vote by mail has a terrible history replete with fraud in states that have adopted that system. Delaware need not experience the corruption associated with that fraud. Everyone who is entitled to vote should have their vote count equally, and no one's vote should be diluted by fraud. The Delaware Constitution was amended a few years ago to allow for the General Assembly to pass laws that violated statute and constitutional provisions if necessary to continue the operations of the government. The legislature relied on that provision in adopting House Bill 346. But in fact, there is no need for any changes to Delaware's law relating to elections to provide for the continuity of government operations. The General Assembly did not prohibit or cancel voting in person. They merely added another means of voting. And further, the Department of Elections stated in the hearings on the bill 346 that they would have all polling places open for the people to vote in person in the general election. Clearly, no government operation has been discontinued. Not only is the law unconstitutional and unnecessary, it is being poorly implemented. To the detriment of voters, the Department of Elections has sent ballot applications to individuals at addresses that are no longer theirs. We have heard from many individuals who received ballot applications for people who lived at their address before they did, and even before the people who lived there before they did. Further, a mechanical glitch recently caused people to get an envelope properly addressed to them and mailed to their home that had an application for a ballot with another person's name already printed on it by the department inside. Finally, and most sadly, some people who thought they voted were disenfranchised. Over 3,000 voters in the presidential primary alone, Republican and Democrat. If that same percentage of votes is rejected in the general election, there will be many more thousands of voters who thought they voted but their votes did not count. Delaware is a small and proud state that has a history of doing things right. That includes allowing anyone who has a health concern about voting in person to vote absentee. We should continue that tradition and follow the law and the Constitution and eliminate vote by mail. I'm glad to take any questions.